Hello, Internet. This is a podcast that you're listening to. It's called Don't Get Your Hopes Up. And if after this riveting intro you have any hopes remaining, then there's something wrong with you. But congratulations. My name is Josh Allen, a.k.a. Lore. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Mike B, a.k.a. Fony.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah. Getting crazy in here.
Woo! All right.
Woo!
Let's do
Okay.
this.
We have some topics that we'd like to talk about
Yes.
because that's how this podcast works. So speaking of topics that we're going to talk about, you heard about this Destiny update, right?
Yes, I have. And it seems pretty clear that a lot of people are very upset by it.
So here's my beef. Here is my raw human beef with this. That's a weird thing to say with this with this update. All right, so I actually don't really care if Destiny comes out with regular content. I don't feel the need to constantly play Destiny, right?
Uh-huh.
Like if I'm not playing Destiny, it's because I'm playing something else. So like I'm playing Overwatch. Right now I actually just don't have time for Destiny content. I'm not going to do the Crimson Days or whatever because I don't have time for it. I have other games that I'd like to be playing. If I'm not playing Overwatch, then I'm playing XCOM. If I'm not playing XCOM, then I'm playing WoW. If I'm not playing WoW, then pick a number. There's 4,000 games in my Steam library that I have not played.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I actually have 176 or so. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very real large number.
My beef with this. Okay, so I guess just for everyone's awareness, the actual update that Deej posted earlier today was that he basically said, prior to the holiday break, we mentioned a second, larger update slated for spring. That content release will feature a significant light increase, a bunch of new gear to earn and equip, and new challenges for PvE players, seeking some more fun experiences and replayability. Beyond that, the team is focused on delivering a large expansion later this year and a full Destiny sequel in 2017. So I have several issues here. The first is that this is a weird place to announce your expansion. Like, just from a marketing, PR, community you do that at like
E3.
Yeah, you do that at E3, which is very soon. You do that at PAX South a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's any number of places that would have been better to announce you're delivering an expansion later this year than in this week at Bungie 2/11/2016 by Deej, age 32.
P.S. So yeah, expansion coming.
Yeah, exactly. And also the full Destiny sequel, which they hadn't actually confirmed prior to this.
Yep.
So that's weird. Secondly, I have, and this is probably just because I've spent enough time on this side of the curtain now, that I instantly, like, the first thing I think whenever I see anything posted, especially by a community manager, something that's posted, I immediately go, oh God, okay. I look at their specific wording because we tend to be very particular about our specific wording because we're very much trying not to overpromise or overhype things, because the worst thing you can do is overhype something and then it's not as good as what the community wanted. Correct. And then they're mad instead of the opposite, which is saying, oh yeah, there will probably be some new updates or whatever. And then it comes out and, oh my God, it's so amazing. That said, he says, talking about the contents coming up slated for spring, he says it will feature a significant light increase, a bunch of new gear to earn and equip, and new challenges, blah, 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 seeking some more fun experiences and replayability. So he doesn't say new raid, which kind of concerns me.
It's not really an update, I feel like, if it doesn't have a raid.
Exactly. And the way it does say new challenges for PvE players, but it says replayability immediately after that, which to me means we're coming up with new ways for you to run King's Fall some more. And don't get me wrong, King's Fall is great. I love King's Fall. I would actually, I'm actually kind of interested in going back and running King's Fall again, largely because it's been a while since I've ran it, and I didn't get as burned out on it as I think like you and Shizzle and the rest of that team did.
Well, that's because we did it first and we left you while you were at work.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I kept going to like the Czech Republic and stuff while you guys were running.
Yeah,
it.
so you still have some time left in you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fine with all this. Like, sure, whatever. This sounds like an update, but what annoys me about this whole thing is I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought to myself, okay, remember back in year one when everybody was really, really mad about how there was DLC and how they had to pay $20 for a new raid, and this is the worst thing that anybody's ever done ever. How dare you, Bungie?
Yes.
I would pay $50 for a new raid right now in Destiny. I would happily drop $50 on a new raid in Destiny today.
You are crazy.
Maybe a little bit
crazy. I mean,
but I would pay $20, no problem. Happily.
If you at the end of King's Fall, when you first beat it, if they were like, hey, pre-order the next one for $50, I might be so inclined because you're so amped, you just completed it, you're just like, yeah, and it's like, holy shit, there could be more, and then you could possibly get more. Yeah, it's like maybe, but like right now, it's like I'm burnt. I've done all the raids. It's like, okay.
No. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is like
you.
Maybe I've got my nostalgia glasses on, but I think back to when we were first going through King's Fall. It's so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there's some weird glitchy stuff, but not nearly as bad as like Crota's End had or anything like that. And it was really, and that like the first time you fight Oryx, let alone kill him. Like, the first time we killed Oryx, holy shit, that gave me the like, that was crazy.
Yep.
I want that again. I want that more. I want that on a regular basis. I would gladly go back to the year one model of, yeah, here's a little mini expansion for $20. I actually thought that was like the first, like there were issues with releasing a buggy raid, and then there was issues with releasing another $20 expansion with no raid. Don't get me wrong. But I would pay $20 for another King's Fall is basically what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Like another thing of the quality level of King's Fall.
Yeah, I agree. I would too.
Yeah, I would happily do that.
And we gave us like what, a solid month? I mean, for me anyway, like a solid month, like month and a half of just like constant, just attempts and then hard mode and everything. So yeah, $20 well spent. Yeah,
exactly. But because everybody complained so much about the DLC in year one, they've kind of, in a lot of ways, they pulled a Blizzard and gone to the complete opposite extreme. And now there's no DLC. But there's microtransactions, so that was exciting when they announced that they were going to support the game off of microtransactions. But now all we're getting is like holiday events, and I like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a very happy relationship. I give zero shits about a Valentine's Day event.
Yeah,
I have no shits to give about that. That said, like I said earlier, I don't feel like Destiny is a game that I have to play constantly, so I'm still excited about an expansion later this year and a full sequel in 2017. That's still good news to me. I just wish we could have nice things.
Yeah, it kind of views. I mean, so if a raid comes out at the end of the year, which it probably won't, right?
Yeah.
Then
well, there will probably be one in the expansion.
In the expansion, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's a long time in between raids.
Yeah.
It's like WoW level.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time between raids. And the thing is, like, the replayability of the Destiny raids isn't quite what WoW is. Like, WoW has more replayability, I would think.
Yeah, and there's also like, I'm obviously going to be biased here, but I feel like there's a lot more to do in WoW than there is in Destiny. Like just outside of the raiding.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Pet battles. You can level, instead of having three characters, you can have 11 of different classes and so on and so forth. I'm not really trying to justify large content gaps in WoW, because that's still obviously bad. But I feel like the two games, you can't really compare that, is basically what I'm trying to say. In WoW, when there's a lull in content, I find other things to do. In Destiny, when there's a lull in content, I play other games.
Yeah, that's true.
And I guess that's still probably fine, because it's not like I'm paying a monthly fee for Destiny.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you feel better?
I do feel a little bit better. I'm just mad at the the
delivery of the of it was, I think, pretty silly. Like,
It's very weird.
It didn't. Yeah, we needed something E3 level, like, to present the next expansion.
Yeah.
Like, just not. Yeah, you know, I almost feel like when I see something like that, it's like, how many fucking people are working there right now?
Yeah,
like, really, like, that's like, I expect, like when Phil Fish announced Fez 2, and he basically it was like one tiny little video and whatever. Like, I don't even remember how he announced it, but it felt like so. Oh yeah, single guy. Yeah, that's his thing. I feel like this announcement was like, oh yeah, is it just Deej there right now? Like, is he the one doing everything? Oh, by the way, guys, I'm also working on a new expansion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. I'm still excited for more Destiny later. And I guess, honestly, like, thinking about it, Division comes out in, like, 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
A little under 4 weeks. And I'm not going to have time for Destiny around Division anyway. So, yeah.
Now, there's no the racing isn't in right now. It's seasonal or whatever, right? Or
yeah,
it's a
the
holiday
racing is just a temporary thing, or was just a temporary thing, and it's gone now. And there's
nothing.
No
right
concept of when it's going to return, or if there's going to be anything new with it when it returns.
What about Iron Banner?
Iron Banner, I think Iron Banner just happened relatively recently, but
Okay.
it had Rift in it, and everybody was really mad about that for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I feel like they put all these cool things in, and then I have to, like, watch the schedule for when it comes up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, with WoW, it's like, I think WoW, it makes more sense to, like, annual holidays or whatever. It's easier to kind of keep track of when they happen. You know, they happen around holidays. But with Destiny's, like, you know, it's like, I want to try the racing thing again, you know, give it another shot. And it's like, okay, well, when is it coming up on the schedule? It's going to be random almost.
Yeah. I mean, like, WoW has some similar things with, like, time walking, but those are on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go, even in game, you can pull up the calendar and say, oh yeah, this next time walking is from this date to that day. I don't actually know what it is off the top of my head, but I kind of feel like they need something similar for that with Iron Banner and the Sparrow Racing, where they can say every 3 weeks is an Iron Banner, every 3 weeks is a Sparrow Racing, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm still excited for more Destiny at some point. I wish that there was any amount of details whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, at all. But I guess we'll find out. They did say that there will be more details about the spring content and the other stuff in the weeks and months ahead. So hopefully we'll find out fairly soon.
Yep.
So, speaking of Destiny, by which I mean, speaking of games that I don't have the time to play because Division is coming out really pretty. You know what? So there was Division patch notes.
What the fuck? That is a glitch in the.
There was a glitch in the Matrix. Yeah.
Wow.
There was. Did not compute there temporarily.
So we have a beta coming for Division, actually.
Yep, Division open beta next weekend.
Yep.
And so there were patch notes for it, and I'm very, very pleased to say that they've fixed the stupid everything is red problem that was pissing me off so much.
Oh, they did? I didn't even notice that. That's right.
Yeah.
I was really, like, your main concerns, really.
That was literally legit my my second highest concern. My highest concern is still the cheating, and it does say that they're going to have some anti-cheat stuff in for this open beta, which I'm excited about, just because it will kind of be the make or break moment of does the anti-cheat work or no. It also said it fixed a few glitches that were allowing some of the cheats to work before. So I don't know. We'll see where that ends up.
Yeah.
But they also made it so that you only turn red when you actually go rogue. You don't turn red just because your bullet grazed somebody who was trying to kill a rogue that was near you.
What? That kind of sucks.
What?
That sucks because we were using those guys as meat shields.
No. They haven't changed what actually flags you for rogue.
Okay. Got it.
All they've changed is, like, before, what would happen is if someone shot you, even if they didn't go rogue, their health bar would still turn red, their outline would turn red, The only difference is just that they wouldn't have the little skull next to their name.
I see.
And now they don't turn red anymore. I think it said they turn a different color or something.
Okay.
Maybe they turn like yellow or something like that. But the number of times that like there was a bunch of us at an evac point and a rogue showed up and we were all trying to kill the rogue, and then someone started hitting me, and we finished killing this one rogue, and I turn around and I see another red person. I go, oh god, there's more of them, and just blow them up. And then they die, and then I'm rogue now, and then I die. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, so a new warning icon has been added to indicate an agent who has shot another player but has not done enough damage to go rogue.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Yeah. Yeah, as the experience leveling curve is adjusted slightly. Yeah, I mean, I went to like 1 to 4 like in a heartbeat just by killing emo.
Yeah.
So it was because he was like him and Corey Adonis were in manhunt mode, so I just killed them both, and all of a sudden, bring, like all kinds of levels.
Yeah. They also said they removed some ropes that people were abusing, and I think I know the spot that they were talking about, because there was one area in the closed beta last time. It was near a evac point actually, and there was a rope to go into it on either side, and one side was in the actual like beta closed off area that you couldn't actually go into.
Yep.
And so the problem with only having ropes as a way into a place is it's ridiculously easy to defend a rope, because you just like the amount of time it takes for someone to get off of the rope, they can die.
Yeah.
Even with as bullet spongy as the game tends to be, sometimes it's a problem. And apparently there was also some issues with like people actually being able to get like into weird spots by like getting on a rope and falling off of it at the right point. I don't know exactly how all that worked, but regardless, it seems like they've learned a few lessons. And this isn't like, I don't really care if open beta still has people using beta glitching. Like, okay, yeah, they're gonna run out into the no-go area.
Yeah, to get around the other side of a building or something like that.
It's frustrating, but I kind of don't care, because it's a problem that only exists because it's beta.
Yep,
like as soon as those beta no-go areas are no longer there, instead what's happening is they're running into an area that way out levels them, and then they die. So this is a little bit less. It's not really a concern for me, or at least you can chase them. Like you can still chase them and kill them. The manhunt actually happens at that point.
Oh, a manhunt timer now pauses instead of refreshing while in combat as a level 5 rogue. Huh.
Yeah, that one's interesting as well.
That's a good one, I think.
Yeah, I think it actually kind of encourages rogue gameplay a little bit more.
Yes.
Because like so what was happening in the closed beta, which was still cool, was you really kind of didn't want to go rogue like ever, and if you did find someone who went rogue, immediately you would be like, oh god, we have to kill this rogue, and you would go over and you try to kill them. And if you yourself went rogue, you kind of ran and hid because you knew you were in deep shit.
Yep.
But I feel like it was a little bit too far in the, like a little bit too heavily stacked against the rogues.
Yeah, because if you fire one shot, then it refreshes. So you would basically never ever get the reward unless you find some way to hole up somewhere, or you're on at a time when nobody was playing, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so the timer pausing is actually perfect.
Yeah, and that also led to a lot of those annoying situations. Like, the spot like right outside that one door.
Yep. Up in the little alcove.
Yeah, where like Summit and a bunch of them got stuck for like an hour and a half because people kept coming up and they'd have to kill them and it would reset their timer, and they actually just got stuck there for ages. And like, you don't want to give up, obviously, but it ends up being bad gameplay for everybody. Like you kind of want, as the people trying to kill the rogue group, you still kind of want to, you want this to end at some point, right?
Yeah.
So you want to have the option of, okay, we haven't killed them quickly enough, so now they're not rogue anymore and they can come back down. So yeah, I really like the pausing. I think it makes an awful lot of sense. I also was a little bit worried that when there wasn't those beta glitches anymore that you could use to port yourself into the safe room, like once it wasn't in beta anymore, no one would go rogue because the risk would be way too high.
Yep.
So I like this. I'm looking forward to playing lots of rogue shenanigans.
And I'm sure also a whole lot of Destiny players are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much damage it's going to do. Like, I mean...
To Destiny?
Yeah. Like, I mean, the Division clearly is going to cater to that group, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not like a one-for-one feature-matched game or anything, but still, it still kind of feels like it has a lot of that in it. And I wonder if maybe that's one of the reasons why we have such a long pause in content. Maybe they know it's like, there's no way we're gonna rush to get anything out during this period, and if we do, it's probably not gonna be that good. And it's also gonna be like during the Division's hype month and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's just like put it on hold, and we'll come back after everyone's forgot about the Division, which takes like 6 months, and then we'll release a new content update. We'll get everyone back that way, like maximize.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really wonder how much they're actually making off of the microtransactions at this point, like selling emotes and stuff. Like when those first hit, I was buying emotes left and right because I was like, oh, this is so cool and I won't have a chance to buy it again, so I really want this emote.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep coming out with more emotes. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can't buy all of the ones that I want.
Can't buy it. Please stop, please.
And I just kind of stopped caring, where it was like, okay, yeah, that one's kind of cool. But like there's a point in the cadence where what happens is you start thinking to yourself, I shouldn't buy this one that I only kind of like, just in case one I really, really want comes by later, and I can't equip both of them. So I obviously I want to wait for the one that really, really hooks me, and this is the best emote, and it speaks to me personally on a fundamental level and changes my life.
Then I'll spend my $2.50.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely think it's because there is a point where a company decides to say it's not worth it for us to continue supporting the game as it is right now, and especially if you don't have a subscription that you're trying to keep players happy. Like, they honestly, if they're not making money off of the microtransactions, there is no real reason for Bungie to really try and keep people super excited for the time being, as long as what they come up with later is good enough to hook people back in.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then it makes more sense for them to say, all right, don't worry about the game as it is right now. We'll just say that everyone's finished the game as it is right now and they're done. And then we'll come out with an expansion for it later. And this expansion, by the fact that we've been ignoring this, we've been able to put more of our time and effort into this expansion. And the expansion is amazing. Yep. And we get more revenue that way. So it's entirely possible.
And if there's I'm just thinking, go back to Destiny, like if the expansion is going to be to 2017, then
the sequel is in 2017. The expansion is later this year.
Oh, okay, yeah, the sequel. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, oh, man, why did they? I'm trying. I think I'm trying to like force. I'm trying to change the facts just to like fit like why they would make a decision to make the announcement inside of the fucking weekly update. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, my thought is more of one in terms of timeline. Like, if they're not ready to make a full official announcement for this expansion, but they still feel like it's coming out this year, it's going to be late this year.
Yes.
Possibly pushed to next year. Which is going to suck for them now that they've posted that it's going to be this year. And then if that expansion comes out late this year, then that sequel might not come out until 2018.
Oh, Jesus. No, you can't do that. But it's happened.
Yeah, these are the warning bells that go off in my head after 2.5 years of like real serious community management experience of thinking to myself, okay, if I say this, what are all of the problems that will result from that later? And that's what I'm worried about here with this particular post. Not that I'm trying to tell Deej how to do his job or anything, but
of course. And he probably wasn't the one that made the decision anyways.
No, sure. That's very rarely how that actually works.
Hey, what's up, suit guys? So I'm gonna go ahead and announce that expansion and
exactly,
sequel and whatnot.
It's not like I walk into work one day and I'm like, hey, what's up, Mike Morheim? I'm just gonna go ahead and announce the next WoW expansion. Just thought, I'll just go ahead and tell everybody like it's gonna come out this time.
Yep.
This is the other thing that makes me so terrified about this, is just coming from my perspective, working at Blizzard and working on the World of Warcraft team specifically. Like, we've announced an expansion, but not an official release date.
Yeah.
This is the other way around.
Yep.
Like, sure, I guess there is like the game will come out before this date sort of thing. So there's that at least, but that's not actually a release date. That's more of a it's actually a legal requirement for pre-purchase.
Yeah.
You have to say, like, if you're actually asking for the full upfront price of the game, which is what happened with Warlords and happened with Legion as well, and that's because of the boost being bundled in there.
Yep.
You have to say it will come out by this time. And obviously they try to make that
the date's
estimate
pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah, they try. I can't say much about it without potentially getting myself into trouble.
Well, I'll just say we've seen, actually we talked about it on Legendary actually, because we saw during the pre-orders of one of the expansions or whatever, like it was in there and it said such and such a date, and we're like, oh, it was gonna be the date or whatever. Like they have to put like a reasonable date in, and it has to just basically come out before that date, and it's always something that's like it's reasonable. It's like, okay, yeah, I would expect it to be out by then, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a date. It's a date that we put in going, okay, we know that by this date it will have launched. We know without any shadow of a doubt whatsoever that by this date it will have launched. And then we can figure out the actual date later. So, yeah. Anyway, speaking of things with release dates, Overwatch is back into closed beta.
It is.
I don't know if there actually is a release date for Overwatch, but it seems like something that it will probably release on a date. So that's where that segue came from.
There you go. It will eventually release, yes. So I think the biggest things is the progression with the loot. The loot system.
Yeah, the new progression system is the big, like, there's some little balance changes, but the progression system is the big thing that came.
Yeah.
I guess there's also the new game mode. But
yeah, but the new game mode, which is actually like super fun. And it could be super fun because, I've only played it so much versus the other mode, which I played like a ton.
Right.
But it's like just basically storming the castle constantly is just fucking great. And then defending that same point. We've had so many, like 99%, like near comebacks or comebacks, or even like deadlock 99-99. We've had so many, and it really, really makes the game exciting. And also, obviously super disappointing when you don't deliver. But
yeah, it's actually really interesting the number of games I've been in, even on the new game mode, that goes to a 0.3. Like it goes to the third point. Because like you have the first point. The way it works for people that might not be aware is it's basically King of the Hill. You capture a point, it ticks up. Whoever it ticks up to 100 for first, and you can capture it back and forth. But whoever gets 100 out of it first wins that point, and it's a best of 3. So you go to a round 2, and then if the same team wins, then the game's over. But if the other team wins, then it goes to round 3. And I've had games where it was absolutely ridiculously. I've had one game actually where it was 99% to 100% on the first point, 99% to 100% on the second point for the other team, and then 99% to 100% on the third point. Like literally impossible for it to get any closer than that.
It's like a 30-minute match.
Yeah. Well, it happens that way because of the overtime system, where if you're on the point and contesting it while it's at 99, it won't actually tick to 100 until the other team can completely clear you out of the point. So that way, if you get on there before it ticks to 100 and you wipe the other team, then you can take it over and you can try to come back. And so that's why that ends up happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really fun. But yeah, no, the progression system was what we wanted to talk about, I think.
Yeah, the random loot system is it's funny to see how somebody will get like a legendary item and everyone else will be like, go fuck yourself. And it's just like, it's just the way it is, man. You can open it up and you'll have 4 tags or something, and you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Or like, 4 avatars or some shit,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, I like it. The skins look some of the skins look amazing. Some of them I feel like, all right, like the legendary
Yeah.
ones too. Like some of the legendary ones are like complete takeovers, and it looks great.
Yeah.
But then some of them it's like, okay, so a little bit of discoloration, but it still kind of feels like it's just like a skin with a texture or something on it instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think part of that is that the colorations, they tend to not be as pronounced as you see them in, like, MOBAs and such as well. Like, it's not... Like, just thinking of Lucio, for example. Most of him stays the same color between the different color swaps. It's just slightly different. And I think the reason that they went ahead with it like that is just because they wanted to be able to give you stuff constantly. Like, you get 4 things in every box, and sometimes it might be credits because it was a duplicate or something, but you get 4 things in every box.
Oh,
And
is that what the credits are?
I believe so, yeah. I think the credits
Okay.
come in if you would have gotten a duplicate.
Okay.
At the very least, I don't get credits very often, so I
Yeah,
assume
it's
that's
true.
what it
Yeah.
is. And I haven't gotten any actual, like, raw... I've never earned something twice. So I assume that credits come in if you would have gotten a duplicate. But yeah, like, I think that they just want to be able to throw stuff at you constantly. So there's like a million sprays and tons of voice lines and tons of skins, and there's the play of the game like animations, which are super cool.
Oh man, yeah, those are
I love
good.
those. And there's
I love the camera interaction with them. Lucio's
Yeah,
actually got one of the
exactly.
best. Like you blast it and it kind of like falls back.
yeah, exactly.
So good.
And there's like, oh god, they're so good. Um, and like the poses at the end, like the "you won, here's a pose" sort of thing. Like those are pretty cool. Some of those are really, really good. But yeah, I feel like they just want to give you a ton of stuff, and I'm cool with that. I wish I could turn in the stuff I don't want for credits.
Oh, like
Like-
a trade-in system or like dusting.
Yeah, like dust in Hearthstone. Like, I wish I could say, you know what? I literally never, ever, under any circumstances, play, no, Soldier 76, which is not, I was just playing him earlier today, but just as an example, like, you could say, I do not like Soldier 76. I will not play Soldier 76. I have got a legendary skin for Soldier 76 that I would like to turn into something else. Or
Right.
I've got a discoloration or an alternate color for Lucio that I would have rather had some credits instead that I could spend on something else. Like, and it doesn't have to be a ton of credits, but being able to take, I have so many sprays that I just will not use because I've already got, like, I've got a spray that I like more for that particular character. So I'm not going to use this other spray that I don't like as much. I would like to be able to, it's kind of like you feel like you get nothing at that point.
Yeah.
And so I would like to be able to turn that into dust or credits, excuse me. The other sort of issue that I have with it at the moment, which I'm sure it's worth pointing out at this point, that I know nothing about Overwatch development. I am not on that team. I am not on that community team. I don't know anything about what's going on over there.
Right.
But I kind of expect that this is the sort of thing that would get changed at some point, but we'll see. I don't like that the XP to level increases, but the XP you earn doesn't. Because it means that the more you play the game, the fewer boxes you get.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's
There's no pacing.
yeah. Like in Hearthstone, you win 3 games, you get some gold,
Yes.
and that's constant. Like after you win X number of games, like I don't know the
Like 10
exact
gold
number
or something like that.
Yeah. After you win X number of games, you get X number of gold, and so after X number of times that you've earned gold, then you can get a pack.
Yep.
That's very, very deterministic. Takes the exact same amount of time to get your first pack as it took you to get your 501st pack.
Correct.
Excluding like the daily quests and stuff, but still, like
Yeah, something like that should be, because I started to kind of lose momentum after we played the first night.
yeah,
We played like 3 hours or so, and towards the end, so I think I was like level 6 or something like that. I was like, oh man, I'm not, it's like, okay, cool. Like, the first time it was great. You did one match, you got one. You did another match, you got one. And the
Yeah.
third match is like, okay, but
Oh, I didn't get one this time. I guess that's fine. I've gotten 2 boxes out of the 3 matches I've played.
yeah. So
And then you get higher, and it's like, I have to win 10 matches to get a box.
it's like, where does the scaling end? I'm
Yeah.
sure it's gonna cap out somewhere, but I definitely like Hearthstone's setup much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the daily quests might be a good thing for them to think about including as well. I mean, I know that Hearthstone has it and Heroes has it, so Blizzard having 3, well, obviously WoW has daily quests, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But like every Blizzard game having daily quests would be a little bit predictable, so I don't know that they should actually do it, but I do feel like the sort of, even if it's like just a first win of the day bonus sort of thing, like just something that says you should play Overwatch for a little bit today, I think would feel pretty good. Like, not something that you can necessarily grind infinitely.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, you played a game today, and for playing your game today, you got half a box worth of XP. Good job. Tomorrow you can get a box.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did it. I mean, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. They could create incentives for individual characters. Get X number of maybe control points using a certain character or something. I don't know. Or not even. It could be just account wide. There's a ton of things they could do to kind of encourage different types of
play
of
3 games as a defense character or something.
Yeah, right, or something.
I think part of the potential issue is that Overwatch is very much a game about switching constantly.
Yes.
And the concern with daily quests is that they could push people into saying, okay, well, but I have to get 10 kills as Roadhog, and I've only gotten 5, so I have to play Roadhog in this match. Never mind that there's already 3 tanks on my team. And no supports. I'm playing Roadhog because I want to finish my daily quest. But they could easily create daily quests that maybe even encourage switching.
They're just role-based.
Yeah, like make it role-based so you have to play tanks, or make it so that you have to do both, maybe. Like, say, win or play 3 games as a support and 3 games as a defense or something. I don't know. I think there's ways to do it.
Yeah, there's something there.
Or even, like I said earlier, just a first win of the day bonus might be nice, too. Yep. But yeah, I definitely do not like the more you play the game, the less stuff you get problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it
feels like it's dragging on.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels like the longer I play, the less likely I am to get the stuff that I want, which it should feel the other way around.
Yes.
Right? It should feel like as I'm playing, like I happen to really like Roadhog, I really like Zenyatta. I really want to get the Zenyatta the Genie Zenyatta skin. I think it's really cool. It looks amazing. I really want that skin. But the longer I play, the less likely I am to get it because I'm getting fewer boxes, and that sucks.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that's my thoughts on that.
Oh, there you go.
The game is really ridiculously fun, though. And even, like, I was playing it like crazy at work even before the progression system existed. So, like in the last beta, even before the progression system existed, I still played it a ton. So, I'm excited about the game regardless of progression system. I just feel like it could be improved, and I also feel like that development team is smart enough to recognize where it can be improved.
Yeah, it's definitely a kind of like a 2-hour block game for me. Like, it's a game that I can play because like towards the end of the other night, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of done. I think I could probably log like 2 hours in that game and then go do something else.
Yeah.
Just to get burn on it. But I mean, it's still like, so much fun shit has happened. I hope that there's some kind of like replay system or something that we could save, like Team Fortress, like TF2, like being able to so the highlights at the end, like being able to maybe save the highlight or your personal highlight, I don't know,
that'd be
something
really cool.
And then you could like control the camera angle or something like that. Like, let me see these things I did from a different angle. Like put the camera on the ground while Reinhardt is like charging past the camera. Like
a full on like HLTV sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Something like that would be really great.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I also think that like the play of the game thing in particular, like I love the play of the game. I think it's really cool. And I like that there are the different animations that you can get for play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I have one as Bastion. I also have a pretty cool skin as Bastion. I suck at Bastion. I will never see that play of the game animation.
But you could just park it, just go in, park it, and just start blowing people up, and get play of the game.
I mean, that's what people think you can do as Bastion, but the reality is Bastion only gets play of the game when the other team is dumb.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, if you're playing Overwatch and Bastion gets play of the game, you should feel bad. Unless he's doing something like there are some, I've seen some ridiculously good Bastions who do crazy, like they go into sentry mode and they shoot at somebody and then they get up and they kill somebody they go into turret mode and then they kill somebody and they get up and they go into sentry mode and they walk over and they shoot somebody on their way and they kill that person and then they go back into turret mode and kill someone else, and like the switching back and forth constantly is how you can tell a really good Bastion from someone who just goes, I will sit in this spot and wait for things to walk in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yup. So anyway, speaking of Overwatch, by which I mean speaking of Baywatch, by which I mean speaking of Tornado Watch, by which I mean speaking of Celebrity Watch. Is that a thing?
You go back to the tornadoes.
By which I mean speaking of Tornado Watch.
Okay. Now
By
you're
which
in
I
an
mean
element now.
Speaking of Water Watch.
Earth Watch.
Yeah, Earth Watch. Oh, yeah. By which I mean speaking of the Apple Watch.
It's good misdirection. People are gonna think we're talking about the Apple Watch now.
Yeah. So I got this new smartwatch.
Oh God.
No, not really. So Firewatch came out.
Yes. Now, you haven't played it, right?
I have not played it. I know it's a kind of a choose your own adventure sort of thing, and I know they have a pretty awesome looking
It's like a
PS4 skin, and that's about the extent of what I know about Firewatch.
Yeah, it's a walking simulator.
Okay.
You do have some choices and stuff that you can make, but ultimately it doesn't affect the outcome, from what I heard. I haven't actually played the entire thing. I actually only played like the first 10 minutes of it, and I realized immediately that this is something that I'm gonna have to wait until I'm like, I am ready for that kind of emotional toll, right?
Right.
So I went to the launch party last night, and I got to meet all the voice actors. It's funny. It's like all the voice actors there. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, okay. It's like I don't know who they are, like not as actors, but like in the game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You do that? Oh, sweet, nice, And I talked to Chris Remo, the creator of the game, and we bullshit for a little bit, and I was checking out the OST before I headed into the city, and the soundtrack's actually really good. And I actually thought it was somebody else other than Remo that made it, but no, he did that too. So when I was talking last, I was like, dude, like the soundtrack is freaking awesome. And actually, him and I are the two top selling albums in the San Francisco Bay Area on Bandcamp.
Oh.
So we were talking about that, how like music and such, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, like on the cover, if you look up the cover of Firewatch OST, it's a tree line, right, reflecting off some water, and its silhouette is that of a waveform, right? And naturally, I see a waveform and it's like, okay, what does that say? Like, what is it? How do I play it? It's like a puzzle. Like, what does that mean? And so I'm sitting there, like, I'm sitting there trying to get ready and everything like that, and I'm downstairs, and I keep looking at it. I'm like, God, it was. I'm like, okay, Firewatch. No, that doesn't work. There's too many syllables here. Like,
Oh yeah, I
peaks
see
here.
what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's like, let's see, Chris Remo. No, that wouldn't fit. Like, is he putting his like, what the fuck is it? You know, it became obsessive, and I was like, there's got to be a way to figure out what the hell this sound is. And so I was like, you know, I'll just ask him tonight. And so yeah, tonight. So last night, I asked him. I was like, hey man, so you have this really great design. You know, the waveform silhouette. I have to know what it is. And he just kind of like smiled and he just goes, man, it's bullshit. It's nothing. I was like, no. Really? And he goes, yeah, man. Like, it's nothing. It's just, you know, a waveform. I was like, well, it's a good soundtrack. And I was bummed because I was really hoping he would be like, oh, it's a secret. That's what he fucking should have said. He should have been like, oh, we're not disclosing that yet, you know?
Yeah.
And then find something else that fits it and be like, yeah, this is what it meant.
And then it turns out it's like, blah, 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 blah. Because that's what I would expect it is.
Yes,
in fact, I'm pretty sure the waveform in Audacity looks almost exactly from those sounds I just made. It actually looks very similar.
So, man, it was interesting to see how many people were there that I did not know. So I go to so many conventions, and I go to so many parties at all these conventions, so many bars and everything. I don't forget faces, right? So yeah, I've seen like thousands of people at these bars and whatever at conventions, and when I was there, I was like, who the fuck are all these people, right? There was one familiar face. Anita Sarkeesian was there. And I got to meet her and shake her hand and everything, and she was nice.
That's cool.
We didn't like talk or anything, but yeah, like, outside of like her and like the couple people I came with, it was just like, okay, like I don't know any of these people, and it was like I was talking to my buddy who was there, and he's like, it's like all indie devs. And it's like, oh, well, shit, no wonder. Like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, all indie devs. I didn't realize that. Okay, cool. But I mean, it's funny. Like, it looked like a San Francisco party. Like, it was.
So everyone was stoned.
Everyone was. Everyone was stylized in the San Francisco theme, I guess you could say, right? Like the look, you know, the
so they
shirts
were all
and
holding joints.
Like, I don't want to say hipster, right? Because hipster means something totally different now, and they're not calling themselves that anymore. But I was when I walked in,
it's too mainstream to be called a hipster.
Yeah,
nowadays.
right. Yeah, I was like, huh. Yeah. But no, everyone was cool though. Like, everyone was super cool. And it was free drinks, so I really couldn't complain. And I got super wasted, and then we went back to Frank Kenzie's place, and we were all in there playing The Witness. I don't remember any of it. I don't think we got anything accomplished in The Witness. And then passed out, and then I woke up, and then that was it.
Good story.
Yep.
So yeah, Firewatch. I don't know anything about it. You don't know any of the people involved in it. Anita Sarkeesian.
Wait, what? Yes. That's it. That's all I have.
Good. This was a good talk. So, speaking of games that we don't know anything about, by which I mean, speaking of the complete opposite of that, by which I mean speaking of games that we've played to death already and would happily do more, Fallout 4 is apparently getting a complete overhaul of its survival mode.
Dude, yes.
This excites me in ways that are inappropriate to share on this podcast.
Yeah, I have 41 hours in mine in Fallout 4, which I think is probably the most, like, it's got to be up there in terms of like AAA titles. Like, it's definitely up there in terms of like most time spent in a game.
I have 86 hours in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And that's like, I'm not even close to done with it either, is the thing. There's so much more to do.
Yeah, same. Yeah, like I have not gotten anywhere near like even like the midpoint. I don't think. There's so much bullshit. But wait, you played survival, right?
No, I didn't. So my whole thought was I want to play through the story, and I want to get through the story, and then I'll do another playthrough on survival or something. And like the next time I play through, because there's choices you can make that you end up with very, very different outcomes, depending on like vastly different outcomes in the game, depending on what you do, and like who you choose to side with and so on. I won't spoil anything, but there's some serious shit that goes down.
Dang,
yeah. So I've played through with one ending. There are at least 2 other possible endings, and that's just what I know of. It's entirely possible that there's more that I just don't know about. And obviously there's going to be DLC for it as well.
Yeah.
They're actually I've already gotten I got it for Christmas actually, the season pass for more DLC for Fallout 4. So I'm excited about whatever that ends up being. I do wish that it like had a way to differentiate your save games. It's kind of annoying. Like I wish I could say, all right, this is this game, this character, this is done. I want to start a new character, but I don't want to like leave my old save games in the dust. There's probably some mod or something that does that though. So
yeah,
I'll have to look into it. But anyway, yeah, Fallout 4 survival mode. They just tweeted, like I think it was just earlier today, going to the Bungie school of how to announce things. they just dropped this in a tweet. We're also doing a complete overhaul of Fallout 4 survival mode. Food, sleep, diseases, danger, and more. Stay tuned.
Oh man.
So like it's already in survival mode. It already like you heal a lot slower. But
yes.
this doesn't sound like what that means. This sounds like you have to eat something or you will die. You have to sleep or you will die.
Yeah.
You can get a disease, and if you don't cure this disease, you will die. Like it's actually taking like some of the core concept from games like DayZ and H1Z1 and putting it into Fallout 4, and that makes me hard.
Like, I mean, I played a lot of survival. Once I was talking to Shiz about it, she was like, yeah, it's worth it because of the loot, you know? And so I switched over to it. Like, yeah, things take a little bit longer, but they're doable. I mean, also my character's wearing a fucking dress, right? And so I could probably make it easier on myself by putting actual armor on. Oh, a dress and like a pilot's cap. So yeah, I'm definitely not trying hard. But it's just basically, you know, the guys hit harder and you take longer to heal, and that's pretty much it. Seeing survival mode turn into an actual survival mode, I am right there, dude. Like,
yes. Like, so I have the way I've ended up with my character that I have right now. I have like infinite supply of fusion cores. I've not left my my power armor except to craft things in at least like
you're just always in your
60.
Power armor?
I'm just always in power armor. I never leave.
I'm never in it. That's just collecting dust. I don't think I've used it once. I've not used it once since the tutorial, the intro.
Yeah, I never leave it. I have so many fusion cores. There is no reason for me to ever. I get more carry weight. You move a little bit slower because if you sprint while you're in the the power armor, it uses up fusion core. But honestly, I have like 86 fusion cores. Like I will never run out of fusion cores.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll use that character for survival mode because that's kind of a little bit cheating. Like just going into it already being immune to everything ever, and I'll probably start a new character entirely for survival mode. But oh man, I'm so excited for that. That's it's pushing every single one of my available buttons.
Yeah, I've become a bit of a survival whore, and I didn't really realize it.
Yeah,
like, I've been playing all these games, and then like the one thing I noticed, it was just like, like these are all survival. Like I have to manage all these things. Like I was like, okay, I did not know that about myself. You know, it's like I thought this was just a procedurally generated top-down RPG. Okay, sure. You know, like Sword of the Stars of the Pit, right? There's survival elements there. You can get diseases. You can get all that stuff. And then there's Subterranean I've been playing, and then of course there's DayZ and all that shit, right? But like, but still, I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. And so now looking at this, it's like this couldn't have come at a better time. Like I've just discovered myself again.
Yeah.
And now this is coming soon. I would love to to see a more in-depth survival mode for Fallout 4.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
and like it was something that like as I was playing through it, like it was one of those like sort of, oh yeah, it's a game, so it doesn't bother me really. But it occurred to me that my character had literally never slept like at all ever. Had sat down by accident once, otherwise been on his feet for
Just
literally
see what it looks like when you sit
6
down.
months. Yeah, well it was complete. It was like I was trying to pick something up and it was next to a chair, so I accidentally sat down instead. And that would have been very early on because obviously you cannot sit down in power armor. So
Can you imagine like fatigue kicking in like on your character?
Man.
Like you're trying to make it back to town, but you have to like stop somewhere and rest because you're like you're trying to get back down to sleep or something, and you end up like not being able to make it because you didn't budget your fatigue correctly or whatever.
Oh man, how awesome / maybe awful, but also awesome would it be if Fallout 4 Survival Mode did not have fast travel?
I was just gonna fucking say that. Like, yeah, like if it didn't have fast travel and you had to fucking run back. Oh man, it had to carry tents or something, like some kind of like lean-to.
Get rid of the perk that lets you like sprint while you're carrying stuff. Like literally, if you're overburdened, you have to drop that shit. Like, just go full on. Like, get rid of every convenience factor. And just get serious about, like, man, what if it was like, because one of the complaints I have with Fallout 4 is that they've put all this effort into the base building, but the base building seems kind of useless. Like I don't really care about the base building at all.
Yep.
But what if it was, if you sleep in a place that isn't safe, you might die in your sleep because something shows up and kills you.
Yeah, or at least like you get an encounter or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you wake up because a super mutant is swinging a club at your head. And that's what wakes you up. And you have to try and recover from that and pull your gun out of somewhere, and because you've been sleeping with it apparently, and fight off this super mutant. So what if you actually needed to build up your defenses in order to just be safe in the game at all? That would also, like, having to like eat and such. Like, actually having to eat, I don't think I've eaten anything ever on my character either, because I've found way too many stim packs. So there was no need for me to ever eat food for anything. And I was playing on, like, I wasn't playing on the previous, the normal survival mode, the hardest difficulty. So I didn't really ever need the, like, this gives you a ton of extra agility or whatever sort of temporary buffs.
Yeah, I'm the same boat.
Yeah, so if I actually had to eat, then I would care a lot more about having farms. And if I care about having farms, then I'm a lot more worried about when raiders attack different settlements. And yeah, I'm really excited about what this could mean. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm probably overhyping it for myself. It'll probably come out and they'll just be like, oh yeah, sometimes you get cancer and have to get treatments and then you die. And that would...
Sometimes
like,
you get cancer. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But I'm really, really excited about what that could mean.
Speaking of things that might die.
Oh. I think I know where you're going with this. You're talking about Supreme Court Judge Scalia, right?
What?
He's really old.
What the fuck?
But yeah, SoundCloud is apparently in the shit. Like something like $41 million loss or something like that. I don't have the article.
$44 million in loss.
Wow.
The quote was that the company has adequate resources to continue in operational existence for the foreseeable future, whatever the fuck that means. But it's
for the foreseeable future. I feel like when you've started off of $44 million loss, the foreseeable future for a company like that is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is your foreseeable future?
We can probably last out the rest of the month because we've already paid rent.
Yeah, and this is relevant to us in this podcast, obviously, because this is how we do distribution.
Yeah.
It's a bit concerning. So I use it for music. I like to just post like sketches and random stuff to it sometimes too. And it's some people use it to find music. I find it very difficult too because the tagging system fucking sucks. Occasionally, if you go into the, occasionally you can find like higher level stuff, like things that have basically been almost filtered by the community because it's the highest rated or most viewed in a certain subcategory, right, or genre. You can find some pretty neat stuff, remixes, all that stuff, DJ sets, so much cool stuff. Just sometimes you have to kind of sift through the shit. Like everything is fucking trap. Everything is trap right now.
Yeah.
So, but it's still like, I think everything's just moving to YouTube. Everything's fucking moving to YouTube because YouTube now on your phone you can download episodes.
Oh, really?
Using the YouTube app, you could just download the episode. That way you don't have to worry about having. That's the biggest complaint people have. They want to be able to download the episode so they could listen to it on the go.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, then just use a YouTube app. And that's probably what might happen to us with the show. Was we might just post it to YouTube and just there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we talked like when we first started doing this, we were talking like maybe we should just post these on YouTube because like that's where both of us already had like a little bit of a following. You had more of a following than I did on YouTube, but like it kind of made more sense. But then we're like, nah, it's a podcast. YouTube isn't quite the right place for a purely audio podcast, so we'll just put it on SoundCloud instead. And SoundCloud has some features that are useful for that, which is cool.
Yep.
But if SoundCloud doesn't exist, and I have to be honest, like I don't use SoundCloud for music. Like every once in a while I'll go look up like something that Foxkey made like ages ago, but that's all on YouTube too.
That's true.
And like I'll look at your SoundCloud sometimes just as like, oh, what's Mike up to? Oh, he's beep boops. Okay, cool.
Beep boops. All right.
Yeah. That's my review of your new album. No, actually your new album is really good.
Oh, you listened to it?
I did listen to it, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I have a few favorite tracks.
Ooh.
I like the first one a lot, the Home Soil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like Suddenly Human a lot.
Mm.
And like that. Don't get me wrong. None of the tracks are like, oh, whatever, screw this track or anything like that. These are just the ones that like I go, oh man, this is really good. I want to listen to this all the time.
Yeah.
There was another one that I don't remember the name of right now, but it exists.
Yeah, promise. It's doing really well. It's actually, so in terms of like if we want to compare it to, the only thing I can really compare it to is like how did Negative PH do, right? Negative PH in its first month did I can't remember what it did exactly, but basically I'm in the first week I am probably like 2/3 to what Negative PH was in the first month. And as Negative PH we released 2 albums.
Yeah, the 21XY.
Yeah, 201XY. It was so people were buying both.
Yeah.
So this is actually really fucking cool for me because it's like neat. Like everyone's buying. It's just me. So I have to split with Josh, which is great. but yeah. So it's I mean it's doing really well. And I actually already have. I mentioned that I was gonna put in like a free DLC, right? For the Bandcamp, people that get it on Bandcamp. And basically what the free DLC is going to be, I have 2 remixes that I'm like polishing up that I've done from 201X201Y. Songs Amakua and I think OQ314. So Occupy.
Oh, nice.
Or no, wait, Occupy? Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
And so those 2 remixes, and they're like vastly different, like way different than the originals. But I use some of the same sounds, so you still kind of hear the flavor. It's almost like if somebody else were to write this same song,
Right. Kind of like what Foxkey did with Indoctrination ages ago.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Same sounds, just like obviously way different take.
Way different song, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those will be coming up probably, I think next week. I should have them pretty much finished. And I don't know if like it'll notify people or whatever, but well, we'll see. We'll see what it does. Nice. Free DLC, baby.
Nice. Well, you might not put it on SoundCloud.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was just thinking about like what do I actually use SoundCloud for, and the only real use case that I can think of that SoundCloud is not like there's a lot that the SoundCloud is kind of the best at, but very niche things. But the only thing that SoundCloud is really good at is in my Twitter bio for my CM account, my CM Lore account, if you go to twitter.com/CMLore, there is a link to a SoundCloud, which is just a boss quote saying words, the master wants murder. And I just wanted to have something in there that people just clicked on and instantly heard words, the master wants murder. Because that makes sense for my Twitter account.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's the only thing that I would not be able to do if there was no SoundCloud. So yeah. R.I.P. in peace, SoundCloud.
Pre-rip.
I mean, it's also, like, from the article, it was basically saying that they need investors. And so it's possible that some investor will go, we can salvage this, and then they'll be fine. Yeah. It's just, at the same time, when the thing that you, like, if you're already an investor and you see SoundCloud popping up with this article that says they might die, then you're going to be like, maybe I should stop giving them money.
Yeah, and they raised it says $77 million last year for 2015, and if they're down $44 million right now, their foreseeable future sounds like it's this year. Because I mean, I can't imagine them like their business model right now is they're making money off of. I mean, I've never heard an ad played in between songs, but they have pro accounts, right?
Right.
So, like for example, hosting "Don't Get Your Hopes Up" costs me $15 every month. Hosting my AK Mike B costs me $15 every month. Like it's just you pay for pro, and that allows you to upload more minutes. So basically rate you by the minute.
And by the way, just so everyone is aware, I do not contribute to that $15 a month because don't get your hopes up. I don't know. I just felt it was necessary to point out that I don't care.
Mike, you got this. Thanks.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem, buddy.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Mike. I'll buy you a beer next time you're conveniently in Irvine, California for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. I'll spend the money to get down there so you can buy me a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate it.
I'm pretty close to the airport. You could just fly down.
That's true. Yeah, you are like really close to the airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just I should do that.
Yeah, you just fly down here so that you could collect this beer.
So, since we're streaming this,
oh yes, that's true.
How do we end? Do we just end the show like just normally?
Yeah. Then maybe we, I don't know, hang out in the chat room for a minute or something, or maybe we just tell everyone in the chat room that they don't matter to us and they're not even real people.
Dang.
They're just words on the internet.
Dang.
I mean, I feel like we were fairly clear with the title of this podcast.
That's true.
That one should not elevate
one's
hopes.
Well, that works.
Yeah.